I have found a single category that could showcase how good Roblox games really are, and yet I had to go through astonishing pain to discover them. Why is it so hard to find them? In this video, I will show you how good single-player games really are and why Roblox hates them. Last year, we talked about how Roblox isn't actually boring. In that video, I gave top marks to some random single-player game. I would give this one like 1,000 out of 10, giving us a total of 340%. And apparently, some of you were shocked. However, I already finished both Detriment and Blocktails, and I'm just waiting for an update. So I'm stuck wasting time in Evade despite the gameplay being the same thing over and over, or getting roasted in Flood Escape 2 by pretend tryhards who can't even finish a map but would shame anyone who misses a jump. That made me realize I want more. For this video, a game counts as single player if it meets these two sacred rules. 1. No other player should be needed to finish the game. 2. Even if the game has a multiplayer mode, the core gameplay is really meant for one person only. With that in mind, I will show you a few of them. Far From Land. This game is basically Five Nights at Freddy's in the sea, but I feel like it's somehow so much better than FNAF. That's because the gameplay is more dynamic. You're driving a ship, monitoring its state, maintaining all of those leak pipes, and keeping yourself safe from the animatronics. At that point, you should really demand a pay raise. And once your first shift is over, you still have to do a safety checklist in the dark with some monster playing metal music. And it gets even harder. If you think the first night was a little too much, then the next ones are gonna be a little too much. A little too much, as other animatronics gradually turn into a school bully. The lore is pretty crazy too. It's above average by Roblox standards, and I ended up reading all of it, even though I'm not the kind to study lore or something. One criticism I do have is the analog horror cutscene. Maybe it's just me, but it feels a little overused now. Perhaps using a half-broken radio or a normal widescreen TV would be just as scary. After all, ships do have those and it will fit the scene. With such a complex game, you have to wonder how Dead Rails has almost 1 million and this is stuck at 10 players. Multiplayer bias? 10 out of 10. Robot 64. Something about this game has a very familiar style.
It's me, Mario!
Open your eyes and your mind to the realism of Nintendo 64 as you play Super Mario 64. Submerge in
I love adventure and parkour, even if I suck at both of them, and it has a style practically different from many Roblox games. Because it's Mario. The story is laughable though. You play on a planet called Poptopia, which if you squint a little bit, looks like Poptropica, controlling a silly little character called Bebo, and the endgame seems to be about destroying the sun using ice creams, which in real life doesn't work, and even if it works, it's not actually a great idea, unless you want to replace global warming with global freezing. Neither would be ideal. The gameplay is something we already know of. I mean, it's inspired regardless. I think it's fine. Now, I'm not sure if this is intentional, but certain actions could reset your progress, which can be frustrating, like accidentally getting into a new place while doing a separate task. Overall, quite fun. 8 out of 10. Hours. The moment I was inside this game, I honestly had no idea what to expect. The menu was confusing with this Minecraft enchantment table language, and after I figured that out, I didn't actually figure it out. I died to the first boss twice in a supposedly relaxing game mode. I had no choice but to choose an even relaxier game mode, apparently for weaklings. It's a pun I enjoy, but I wanted to see the game from a design and feel standpoint. Although it was giving anime fighting PvP tryhard gaming vibes, it does have some unique elements that could stand up for themselves. I do question some of the map designs and the names, especially the names. They sound like they were named by Elon Musk himself. Skill issue aside, I am very impressed with the AI. Roblox developers tend to have awful AI that is either too easy or too aggressive without any consistency, but here it is pretty tastefully done, from the little enemies to the boss to the bossier boss. That's one huge pro that more games could benefit from, like Dead Rails. 7 out of 10. Tunneler, Portal, Aperture Science. Those words came to my mind, so I don't know why they said this is not a recreation of Portal 1 or 2. Perhaps it's an inspiration. That aside, I am in awe. I have no idea how they did this. The tunnel mechanics are very consistent and very smooth. There's even a reference to the original game when the robot was yapping about rules or something.
Rule 5. Do not compare the ecliptic tunneling device with the Aperture Science handheld portal device. They are different. Very different. Don't even think about it.
A minor nitpick was that the tunnels get a little blurry and glitchy when you get close to it, so it's not flawless. I do suspect that this is merely a Roblox limitation. If you don't have Steam, then this is really the best option you can get. 9 out of 10. Expedition. Do you have problems with your life? Well, this game is for you. It cannot be overstated how realistic and relatable this game is for many, particularly people who had to leave a best someone, like me. And it's a pretty rare occurrence when the game's story makes you cry. It plays on the fact that basically everyone at some point made a wrong decision, and that decision still comes back to haunt them in the present day. There's not much gameplay in this game, it's just walking around while the game guides you towards interesting points, but this game is basically a story piece, and so it's kind of an interactive movie where you get to slightly control the scene. The pace is slow, which I'm okay with, but it's not for brain-rotted people. This is just a prologue, and I'm looking forward to whatever happens next. Also a perfect 10. The Day the Noobs Took Over series. So this is actually split into 3 parts, but I only recommend playing the second one. The first game was a major disappointment. It was trying to be retro, but it looked a little empty. The story was pretty confusing too. It's like a comprehensive tutorial for Jailbreak that happened to face a noob invasion. The second game is so much more pleasing. It basically upgraded everything with better design too, though it is still empty in some sections. The game has a much more convincing story, complete with lore, and actually, you get to make your own history. Want to make peace with the noobs? Or eradicate the queen and get arrested like I did? Beautiful. The third game is better in terms of design and general gameplay, with new abilities that turn you into a terrible superhero, but the story was strange and disjointed from the second game. The ending was awful. They had something going for it while rescuing the 2 noobs, and then they did this. The storyteller destroyed any immersion and just made up an ending, which makes me sad. Overall, I'm giving it 7 out of 10. Our total rating for these sets of games? 85%. I guess nobody's beating that 1000 out of 10 rating of Detriment. Kidding! Haha. It's a good score. So clearly, single-player games are awesome, and yet all of them have very unimpressive player counts. Why is that? There seems to be a trend in this category that is hurting them. Number 1. No replayability. Most games here don't have an incentive for the player to play again, because they follow a kind of story, and all stories have endings. There's a clear indication to stop. 2. No socialization. Being able to join a friend or invite them is a major factor in gaining a player base, but you can't join a friend on a single player game because guess why that is. In fact, natural disaster survival is a good example of this. The players are so weird that they become the content instead of the disaster survival it was meant to be. 3. Limited playtime. Single player games have to catch all of your attention, and dead spots will cause players to get bored and leave. 4. Hard to monetize. Monetizing a single player game is hard. Typically, you rely on donation boards to motivate someone. You can't exactly do loot boxes. Who are you gonna brag to? The Void? As you can see, the algorithm is generally biased toward multiplayer games, as Roblox is a social platform. It's a multi-whammy that keeps single player games in the dark. That's why they rely on YouTube coverage to get anyone playing in the first place, and some will be forced to add multiplayer modes. If you want these games aside from YouTube, Better Discovery helps you find them. Just filter by single player and everything is served. So there you have it. Single player games. They're underrated. Play them.